Capitol Hill food source problem. There's QFC and there's Safeway and Whole Foods. And so much tension and hatred for the government. Despair and pleading for help. Time and speed are already psychedelic. Etiquette and generosity are unfortunately the people outside with flowers, adding more and more to the conscious image. Standing tall, tough, and indigenous in their black style, clothing, outfits. The distance requires transportation from a bus to a destination, a walk to a trolley to another place, a long, slow and arduous, risky adventure with 2 feet to either places now. And a coronavirus pandemic also, with the risk of sickness and death and hospitalization, at the forefront of thought and thinking about which choice to make to find a simple vegetable, a cup of coffee, and a carton of yogurt. The most environmentally friendly and abundant opportunity for calories involves more security than a federal prison, more cameras than a Best Buy or Fry's business for electronics, more video screens than a bar showing sports games, Antifa buyers, Black Lives Matter rioters, homosexual and gay community spenders, rich, high-rise livers and appreciators, children and their mothers, dads and fathers with phones in their hands, young kids in line playing video games with the sound on high. And now, directional requirements on the floor colored in bright, demanding instructions. Stop. One way, arrows, red. go, stop, go, everywhere. Now, up to the other location, half the size, barely any fresh chicken or beef or protein other than canned foods. Good produce, small amounts. Over across on the trolley and the scary walk across where they killed and murdered, graffitied and painted their slogans and put up their tents and carried machine guns, pistols and knives, and shared coffee and conversation with one another. The risk exceeds the benefits of the energy. And the appetite suffers too much now. The conditions have been put in place to support the anarchy and the rioting, the angry screaming and yelling about an activist slogan, political ideology, philosophy. And those who are voting for the candidates they're saying to make the civilization, world, city, part of Seattle better and healthier and stronger and more fair, get in their cars, shop at Whole Foods, have their groceries delivered to their front door, and take a nice day at the park. Go drive to the ocean and visit the beach. Similar to letting food burn on the stove to finish a painting. Having the resources available to order a pizza afterwards. Choosing to have the art and the magic and the stimulation for the consciousness instead of the sustainability and the ethics of wasting less to need not as much. The big lie in this city, in this part of Seattle on Capitol Hill, has to do with the social cohering, togetherness they're calling consciousness. They're making the process involved of seeing, hearing, knowing, and having awareness to be synchronized, appearing to solve emotional problems, to achieve the goals of their system now. Long after I'm dead, nobody will ever remember these words. Now, Nobody will ever stand up and say, oh my gosh, they are terrorizing, they are homeland terrorists. Being allowed to do their work with the guidance of their politicians and their voters who are working in Facebook and these Google and these Amazon and these technological dynasties who don't have limits, who make their own choices about restrictions with their intelligence, brilliance, and high IQs from places like Caltech and UW. Every weekend the food bank comes knocking on other doors except mine. And once a month, I'm able to go buy food and not arrive home too sick to my stomach, to avoid distraction, trying to apply to college to not be in this part of the world anymore, and potentially alive after what I've seen and what I've heard and what I've had to observe in their words and their language and their speech. Those people who say hallelujah has to do with racism, and prosperity has to do with behavioral, tribal, indigenous, culturally acceptable conditions now. The intensity has increased from the lockdowns placed on the people that they put in the office in Olympia. The police are going away from the city council they've made into a tribal entity. They've made a city where they're smart, proud, intelligent, and filthy rich people being treated as if they're gods who are making climate change better for their babies, adopted and born from sperm bank donations now. There's nowhere to go unless a person takes a train and a bus to a better part of this world, this part of the state of Washington I'm talking about now. And now I have half a month to prepare the plan to carry all of the freaking products and vegetables and necessities on my back and on my hands with a mask and neutral, unidentifiable clothes. to not get attacked, assaulted, or harassed because I don't hate the United States of America and do not want the government to give me free stuff for the rest of my life now.